Is Donald Trump a reawakened Captain America? It certainly looks that way. He's running a script straight out of the 20th century. The current Russia-Ukraine conflict is basically a remake of the Balkan crisis from the 1990s, and the real target? The euro. Think back to 1999. When the Kosovo War broke out, the euro was hit hard right at birth, crashing from 1.17 all the way down to 0.85. The script after 2022 is identical. Through energy shocks, Europe was forced to cut off cheap Russian gas. And the result? The euro's Maginot Line collapsed, dropping below the 1-to-1 parity and hitting 0.95. This isn't just a currency wobble, it's a total drain on Europe's lifeblood. German chemical and auto giants are fleeing to America in droves. A 2025 survey shows that despite fears of US policy shifts, giants like Siemens and Volkswagen have no choice but to pour billions of dollars into America just for cheaper energy. It's oil in the Middle East, the same old moves in Venezuela, and now even a sequel to the Cuban Missile Crisis. This offshore balancing strategy is hollowing out European industry for good. Back in the 90s, the US jumped into the Balkans directly, but today in Ukraine, the script has flipped to a proxy war model. Washington is handing out the knives, bleeding Russia dry while stripping Europe of its economic independence. The result? Europe lost its cheap energy and is now forced to pay premium prices for American liquefied natural gas. It doesn't stop there. Security now comes with a price tag. NATO allies are being told to crank up defense spending to 5% of their GDP. It's essentially a massive framework deal. By 2028, the EU is expected to fork over $750 billion for US fossil fuels and nuclear tech. Energy security and military protection have both become bargaining chips. This isn't just an alliance, it's a high-end protection business. That $750 billion deal, it's not a business contract, it's a political pledge of allegiance. The EU would have to triple US imports to meet it, which is a total logistical fantasy. Its real job is to crush European industrial competitiveness. By early 2026, Washington is swinging the tariff hammer again, starting at 10%, maybe hitting 25%. They've even got their eyes on Greenland's sovereignty. Europe's trying to fight back with a 93 billion euro retaliation list and talk of strategic autonomy. But honestly, it's mostly an illusion. Using a 1.5 billion euro budget to fix a $120 billion R&D gap, that's statistically invisible. Without the US, Europe can't even run its own command systems. Look at the Middle East, the script has changed there too. America isn't the desperate consumer anymore, it's the world's biggest oil bookie. They're shouting, drill baby, drill, but shale costs are rising. By 2025, the break-even point hits $61 or even higher. This means the US has to keep global oil prices high just to sustain its energy dominance. It's not just business, it's a cold-blooded harvest. The US energy strategy is like walking a tightrope. If oil drops below 60, shale drillers go bust. If it hits 130, domestic inflation explodes. So, the Middle East isn't a liability anymore, it's a profit center. The September 2025 Riyadh summit locked in a staggering $1 trillion in investment. America is selling tanks and tech, Google and Nvidia are building data centers, and Saudi gets high-end chips, but only if they play by US rules. Turning to the Americas, the Monroe Doctrine is back with a vengeance. In January 2026, the US launched Operation Absolute Resolve, hitting Venezuela with 150 aircraft. Maduro was hauled off to New York, and energy giants like Chevron moved right back in. This wasn't about spreading democracy, it was about seizing the world's largest oil reserves. The Shadow Fleet face-offs have turned Russian tankers into floating tinderboxes, and in Cuba, we're staring at Missile Crisis 2.0. Unlike 1962, we're in the age of hypersonics. Back then, leaders had days to negotiate. Today, reaction times have shrunk to mere minutes. A Mach 9 Zircon missile takes just 4 minutes and 30 seconds to hit DC from Cuba. That's our new reality. The time for diplomacy has vanished. This maximum pressure is pushing us to the brink. Once automated systems take over, a hot war could start before a human even has time to hit stop. Facing this chaos, capital is fleeing. Gold doesn't care about interest rates anymore. It's decoupled from the dollar and surging toward 5,000 an ounce. Central banks are dumping the weaponized dollar. This isn't speculation. It's a survival move before the financial system fractures. The Swiss franc is the ultimate lifeboat. The Euro-Swiss pair has crashed below 0.9094, marking the end of Europe's industrial era. The US secured $750 billion in energy deals and seized Venezuela's oil. In the short term, they've hit the jackpot. But at what cost? It destroyed its closest allies and turned diplomacy into extortion. This 19th century script is forcing a hard landing for the global economy. The hegemon has its tribute, but it's lost the order. As the world decodes and decouples, the twilight of the unipolar world is truly here.